Hello everyone, I am Kumar Anurag. Friends, this is a very important session related to the science and technology part of current affairs. And in this session, I am going to discuss a very important part of science and technology, that is biotechnology. I hope that all of you are very much aware about the syllabus of mains of UPSC, particularly the syllabus of science and technology, which is a part of GS3. And if you go through the questions which were asked in the past examination, so you can assess there that basically the questions which were asked there were more or less related to the current affairs. That is why we have to know about the basics of science and technology, basics of different topics of science and technology, along with their relation with the advancement in current time. The advancement in different arena of science and technology. To know those advancement, that is very important for our examination, and that is why we have to discuss and we have to know both the things, not only the current advancement but also the basic behind it, right? So if we know the basics of the topic, we can easily relate those basics and we can easily understand the advancement in that particular topic, so we can easily answer the questions which can be asked in the examination from that topic. Today I have taken one of the major topic of science and technology, that is biotechnology. And under biotechnology, since there are various topics, so one of the important topic under biotechnology, that is stem cell technology. I am discussing here one of the recent advancement in the stem cell technology, that is called human induced pluripotent stem cells. Okay, all of you know about human induced pluripotent stem cells. Recently, in the past year, one of the advancement in seen this technology is what? That autologous human induced pluripotent stem cells were used for the treatment of various kinds of diseases. And that is why I hope that in the coming examination, it could be asked to you that how autologous stem cells can be used in the treatment of which kind of diseases the human induced pluripotent stem cells can be used, or autologous stem cells can be used. And also some question can be asked in the mains examination. Let us see one of the question I have taken here. Say for the prelims where objective type of questions are asked. So in the prelims it can be asked that autologous stem cell transplantation will be done in the patients suffering from which of the suffering from various diseases, first of all, various diseases given below. Choose the correct disease or diseases from the following and select the correct options. Now this could be the question regarding the autologous stem cell transplantation. Okay. Now I am giving you the options. First of all, the name of the diseases, then I will give you the options, right? Okay. So the first disease could be leukemia. Second, multiple myeloma. Third, non Hodgkin's lymphoma, and the fourth is Alzheimer's disease. Okay, these are the diseases given in the part of this question. And now the options would be only 1 and 3, B is only 2, C is only 2 and 3, and the D is 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so you have to choose the correct option, and this could be a question, an objective question related to the stem cell transplantation. Okay, so an important question which I perceive that it could be asked in the coming examination, right? So here you can easily see that first of all, to solve this question, one has to know about what are autologous stem cells. Okay. Secondly, one has to know that in which kind of diseases these autologous stem cells are transplanted for their correction. Okay. So these two things are very much important that one should know. Secondly, if I expect a question in mains, so in mains the nature of the question could be different. It can't be asked about the technical part of the topic. It could be asked in the form of their general application in our daily life. Okay, And that is why the nature of question could be like this, as I perceive here. The question could be a major breakthrough in biomedical research, in the last decade. Has been the development of human induced pluripotent stem cells, right? What is the reason that such cells have been given the status of regenerative medicine? Okay. So what we have read in the news in the recent past, on the basis of that we can easily assess that what kind of questions can be asked in the mains from that topic, and what could be the nature of question in the prelims. So particularly in the prelims, since objective type of questions have been asked, so obviously it is expected that there must be some options, there must be some important options which can be added to the question. Okay, and that is why the nature of question could be different. But in the mains, you have to be asked a kind of question in which you can explain some of the basic theories, some of the basic concepts of the topic. Okay, so in that way I have framed such kind of question regarding the human induced pluripotent stem cells. Okay, now from this question, what you assess here, that if you have to solve this question, you have to know about human induced pluripotent stem cells, and before that, before you know about the human induced pluripotent stem cells, before that you have to know about the stem cells first of all. Okay, so basically you have to read out this topic gradually from the start of the stem cells, how stem cells can be described, and then what kind of stem cells are there, the types of stem cells, then you have to know about their uses. Okay, so in that way if you read the topic, obviously you are able to solve the questions, and you can relate the recent advancement in that particular technology with the basics. Okay, so to describe this topic, or to solve this question, what is given here in the mains question or in the prelims question. Okay, so to solve this question, what I suppose here, that you have, first of all you have to know about the stem cells. Okay, so we will start with the stem cells, then we go through the other parts of that topic. Okay, first of all, if we describe stem cells, what kind of cells are stem cells? Okay, So as you know that in a multicellular organism, when we see the different parts, the different organs of that organism, so the different parts or different organs of that organism are basically made up of a special type of cells. Okay, if we perceive a body of a human, so obviously you can see there that different organs of human are made up of different kinds of cells. If we see the brain of the human is basically formed of specialized cells, those are called neurons. If we see the blood which is circulating in the body of the human, that blood is basically formed of various kinds of blood cells. Those are red blood cells or white blood cells or platelets. The body of the human, where muscles are basically forming different organs, so the specialized muscular cells are also there. So various kinds of cells are formed in the human body. Okay, but do you think that such kind of specialized cells are formed from the initial stage of the formation of the human, formation of a child, from the embryo? No, it is not. See, initially when an egg in the woman is fertilized with the sperm, and after fertilization the zygote is formed, and that zygote goes into cell division. So after cell division, more number of cells are formed, but initially those cells are basically similar, and such similar cells are differentiated after a certain stage. So particularly if you say, as I have used the term differentiated cells, that means the cells which become specialized. The cells become specialized, those cells are called differentiated cells. And as I told you that after a certain stage such differentiated cells are formed. So before that, the cells which were initially formed, those are called undifferentiated cells. Undifferentiated cells. That means they are non-specialized. They are non-specialized, right? But though they are non-specialized, after a certain stage, they can become specialized and they are able to form specialized cells that can grow into various kinds of tissue in the body. If we say that RBC is formed, RBCs are formed, so RBCs are formed by specialized kind of cells which are called hematopoietic cells. Now such hematopoietic cells not only responsible for the formation of RBCs, but they can be formed into WBCs, they can be grow into the form of platelets. So different kinds of blood cells can be formed by the hematopoietic cells. But how hematopoietic cells are formed? So such hematopoietic cells are formed from an initial undifferentiated cell or non-specialized cells up to a certain stage. After that particular stage, the undifferentiated cell is converted into a special kind of cell that is called hematopoietic cells. Now, not only hematopoietic cells, but also if you say that neuron cells are formed, so neuron cells can also be formed from the undifferentiated cells. The muscle cells are also formed. From undifferentiated cells. So after which state such kind of differentiation takes place in the body? It is called blastocyst stage. It is called what? Blastocyst stage. After that, the cells become differentiated cells. The cells become differentiated cells after the blastocyst stage. Now one has to know what is blastocyst stage. So here you should know that when egg get fertilized with a sperm, after fertilization zygote takes place, and after the formation of zygote several cells are formed. Here several cells are formed. One cell after division converted into two cells. From those two cells 4 cells are formed. From those 4 cells you can say 16 cells are formed, right? So one by one division takes place, and after the division of cells more number of cells are formed. When such division takes place, up to such a state where 32 cells are formed, 32 undifferentiated cells are formed. It is called what? It is called blastocyst stage. Okay, and this stage takes place in the between the 14th and 16th week of the pregnancy, after the fertilization, right? So after the fertilization of an egg with a sperm, this blastocyst stage takes place, and after taking place of this blastocyst stage, now when further division in the cells takes place, such further division make those cells differentiated. Okay, so here one should know, when cells remain undifferentiated, these are called stem cells. And when they become differentiated, that means when they become specialized and responsible to carry out different kinds of functions in the body, so they are called differentiated cells or specialized cells, and such specialized cells are formed by the division of an stem cell. When a stem cell got divided after the blastocyst stage, so from this stem cell 2 cells are formed. This is the initial stem cell, and from this stem cell 2 cells are formed. One of the cell remain as a stem cell, that means it remain as undifferentiated cell. It can't produce any kind of specialized cell, but the second cell can become, the second cell necessarily become a differentiated cell. It necessarily become a differentiated cell. So in that way you can say differentiated cells are formed, and such differentiated cells can be formed as hematopoietic cell or neuron cell or muscular cell, or you can say different kinds of other cells which are formed in the body, that is liver cells or stomach cells, right? So different kinds of cells are formed in the body, and the differentiation in the nature of these cells is basically based on what? Based on the genes which carry different kinds of what? Specialized functions in them, and that is why the cell become a specialized cell, है ना? The cell become a specialized cell. Okay, so in this way we can understand that what are stem cells and how stem cells converted into differentiated cells or specialized cells. Okay, now one should again know that this stem cell can be divided into three types. Okay, there are three types of stem cells. Three types of stem cells. Those three types are totipotent stem cells, pluripotent stem cells, and multipotent stem cells. The three kinds of stem cells are there. Now, if you see here the three types of stem cells, in their name, one of the term is common, that is potent. Potent means what? Potent literally means that the power of the cell. Okay, the power of the cell, the potency of the cell is basically defines its specialized function in the body. Okay, so now if we define the stem cells into these three types, so one has to know that what are the differences between these three types of stem cells. First of all, totipotent cells, they have highest potency. Now, highest potency of what? Highest potency of becoming an specialized cell. That means if a cell is called, a stem cell is called totipotent cells, this means that a totipotent cell is such kind of cell which can be converted into any kind of the specialized cell. It can be converted into brain cells, it can be converted into muscle cells, it can be converted into blood cells, right? So any kind of cells. As you know that in our body various kinds of body organs are there, so various kinds of cells are there. So the totipotent cells have the highest potency to get converted into any kind of specialized cells. You can't imagine that in which type this particular stem cell can be converted. Okay, so it has the greatest potency. Okay, after that, pluripotent stem cells, they have also the high potency but not as much as we can see in the totipotent stem cells, right? So they have high potency, they can also be converted into blood cells, they can also be converted into muscle cells, they can also be converted into eye cells, right? Different kinds of cells, but not all the cells. Okay, a totipotent cell can be converted into all types of cells. All types of cells. What kind of cells we imagine, all those kinds of cells can be formed or can be converted from the totipotent stem cells. But we can't necessarily say that such kind of a specialized cell can be formed from the pluripotent stem cells, right? You can't say necessarily. Okay, that is why though it has high potency, not highest, it have such cells have high potency, but these cells have high potency but not as much as the totipotent stem cells, right? Now thirdly, the multipotent stem cells. They have also a potential to get converted into specialized cells, but have lesser potency. Lesser potency means the multipotent stem cells can only be differentiated into certain specialized cells. They can be converted into muscle cells, they can be converted into epithelial cells, they can be converted into eye cells, they can be converted into hematopoietic cells. So some major specialized cells can be formed by the formed from the multipotent stem cells, but not all the cells. And particularly if you compare the number of specialized cells formed from pluripotent stem cells and multipotent stem cells, so you can easily differentiate those numbers also. The pluripotent stem cells form higher number of specialized cells than the multipotent stem cells. Okay, now these are the types of stem cells based on the number of specialized cells formed from them. Okay, now from what part of human body such stem cells can be taken? So it is clearly known that stem cells can be taken either from the embryo stage, okay, or from the you can say notochord of the umbilical cord of the newborn child, or it can also be taken from the adults. Okay, so on the basis of the host from where such stem cells can be taken, the types of stem cells can be embryonic stem cells, umbilical cord stem cells, okay, it is stem cells, it is written stem cells here, okay, umbilical cord stem cells, and the third is adult stem cells. Now adult stem cells are such stem cells which are present in the adult human, and such adult human has certain cells which are remain undifferentiated in their body. So it can be taken from the bone marrow part of the adult human, or it can be taken from other parts of the human body. It can be taken from the liver, it can be taken from some undifferentiated part of the adult human. Okay, so on the basis of the nature of host from where the stem cells can be taken, there are three types of stem cells: embryonic, umbilical, and adult stem cells. Okay, now since stem cells are used in the treatment of different kinds of diseases, so you can imagine all those kinds of diseases in which a particular organ of the human body can get can become you can say it become diseased, right? So such when an organ become diseased, so that diseased organ can be replaced by the fresh organ, or replaced by a healthy organ which can be grown by the differentiation of stem cells, right? So a stem cell can be grown in that particular organ. Say a person is suffering with cancer, so a particular part of body which got those type of cancerous cells, so those cancerous cells can be replaced by such healthy cells which are grown from the stem cells, right? So in this way, if you read out the diseases which can be treated from the growth of different kinds of stem cells, so it is proven that various kinds of cancers and various kinds of brain diseases can easily be treated by the growth of stem cells. Okay, and in this way, particularly the new biotechnological science has made the advancement in the field of stem cells, that now the stem cells which can be taken from the adults, are two types. Those cells can be called autologous stem cells or allogenic stem cells. Now, what kind of stem cells are called autologous? Autologous stem cells are those stem cells which are taken from the same person in which the diseased organ is going to be treated. Okay, if a person is going through, or if a person is suffering from you can say a kind of cancer, a kind of blood cancer, a kind of you can say different organ cancer. So if a person is suffering from cancer, for the treatment of that cancerous parts of the body, if the stem cell is taken from that adult itself, so it is called autologous stem cell. If it is taken from the other human, so it is called allogenic. It is called allogenic stem cells. So this is also the differentiation. This is also the differentiation between the two kinds of cells. Now come to the question. What questions are there which we have written here? One of the question which I have written here regarding the autologous stem cell transplantation. So this question is asking that autologous stem cell transplantation will be done in the patient suffering from various diseases given below. Choose the correct disease or diseases from the following, and select the correct option. Okay, now leukemia, which is also called the blood cancer, multiple myeloma, it is also the cancer in various parts of the body, right? Third is non-Hodgkin lymphoma, it is also a kind of cancer. And the fourth is Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's disease is a disease which actually happens in the older people, and such older people are suffering with forgetfulness, right? So all these diseases are treated by the autologous stem cell transplantation, and that is why the correct option here is 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, come to the main question. So in the main question, since it is asked about the human induced pluripotent stem cells, so one has to know about, first of all you have to discuss regarding the human induced pluripotent stem cells. What are these human induced pluripotent stem cells? Then you have to discuss why they are called regenerative medicine. So in the next session I will discuss you that what are regenerative medicines. If you become clear about this, so you can easily write the answer regarding both the parts of this question. Okay, so thank you very much in this session, and in the next session we will discuss the other things regarding the stem cells. Thank you.